A message from Western powers to Beijing: stop the human rights abuses against ethnic and religious minorities, or there will be a price to pay. A coordinated set of sanctions from the United States, European Union, Britain, and Canada against several Chinese officials who are now subjected to a travel ban and asset freeze for their alleged role in human rights abuses against Muslim Uighurs in northwest China. The EU's foreign policy chief says the sanctions are meant to engage Beijing in dialogue.
Rather than change its policies and address our legitimate concerns, China has again turned a blind eye, and these measures are regrettable and unacceptable. There will be no change in the European Union determination to defend human rights and to respond to serious violations and abuses, as I said, irrespective of where they are committed.
It infuriated Beijing, who almost immediately issued retaliatory sanctions of their own against several European politicians they said were spreading lies and misinformation. China has repeatedly denied human rights abuses are perpetrated against religious and ethnic minorities. But U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said China is guilty of genocide against Uyghurs, and the sanctions come just days after contentious meetings between Chinese and American officials in Alaska. But on Monday, the White House said the sanctions are not a direct reaction to the Alaska meetings.
Obviously, this was a reaction to what we felt were serious human rights abuses. Obviously, the Europeans felt this as well against members of Xinjiang's ethnic and religious minority groups. No meeting would change our concerns related to that. And we took action, as you noted, in unity with the United Kingdom, Canada, and the European Union, who also acted against human rights abusers in connection with these atrocities. This demonstrates our ongoing commitment to work multilaterally to advance respect for human rights, and we continue to have grave concerns about China's crimes against humanity and genocide on Uyghurs in Xinjiang.
Under former President Donald Trump, the U.S. took a unilateral approach to all things China. That has clearly now changed under President Joe Biden.
The way to do this is certainly not to do it unilaterally, but to do it with a coalition of other countries. And this is the first time that the United States has worked together with its allies, the EU and Canada and the UK, to jointly slap sanctions on China. And it is a signal that there are many countries that find China's policies in Xinjiang to be unacceptable, reprehensible. They are violations of human rights, and China has to start rethinking its approach.
The sanctions are largely symbolic, and on their own likely won't be nearly enough to change Beijing's behavior. But with China set to host the Winter Olympics next year, the sanctions do mark a shift of Western powers returning to speaking to Beijing with one voice when it comes to human rights. And now, tensions could escalate. Gabriel Elizondo, Aljazeera, Washington.